A couple of days ago, I've talked about an anime that's receiving so much hate and a lot of backlash as of late with this Marika's Love Mirror Malfunctions anime. A show that, admittedly, when I watched it and I initially talked about it, I thought that it was okay. It's a fine show. It's not like mind blowing away. It's not even like, in my view, like not the best fun, bad, trashy anime of the year contender. But I thought it was like okay for the first three episodes that's out right now. However, there is so much negativity around this anime because of how much the studio in charge of this was handling the anime adaptation, which was Studio Leo. And I decided to go the extra mile and not only, decide to check out the manga, the original manga of America's Love Your Malfunctions to see like what all the craze is all about, but simultaneously kind of like go back to back and like make a comparison to each chapter to said manga adaptation to see, like, okay, what's the big hubbub? Why everyone's getting so upset about it? And I gotta say, after watching these episodes again and reading these chapters again that was adapted to the anime, the hate seems really justifiable. Like, I gotta say, we're not talking about like Promised Neverland season two bad adaptations. Like, if you remember that second season, God Forsaken So, it had like the worst like anime adaptation of all time. It's not this show on the other hand is not reaching that same level. I'll say it right now. It's more like they just cut out a lot of really key and really pivotal scenes from the original manga into this anime adaptation that unfortunately destroys like a lot of its originality, its identity that this show or this series initially had. And what we end up getting in the anime adaptation is essentially like we get Marika Chan, who's like super super obsessive and she just is the butt of the joke, but in the manga they actually at least in some form shape or form they shape her up as like someone that you genuinely like understand and maybe somewhat care about. Like, okay, like she clearly likes our main character, but her love is so fucked up, like, oh no, but we now know why, because there's like an infamous panel, and I guess I'll even screenshot it right here, where in reference to the first episode, they omit this entire little scene here of her as to like why she is so obsessed with Kanata and everything alike. But there's more examples to that. That even if you do like a simple Google search of like Marika's Love Mirror Malfunctions manga and just do a comparison from the first three episodes to the manga itself, you're going to see like a lot of discrepancies of like what was omitted from the anime adaptation. And look, I gotta say, normally in the case of this, I would kind of like excuse it and be like, okay, whatever, it is what it is. What's the big fucking hubbub? And the fact that the studio is under a hentai studio, which was Studio Leo, which their only reputation is making hentais. It's like, I see that makes a whole lot of sense. But at the same time, I do agree that this is like unacceptable for like how the adaptation should have been handled. In fact, like given that there's only like 20 plus chapters as of right now, this is a really short manga series at the moment that's still ongoing since 2024. I really do think that a few things should have happened in terms of the handling of the show, which is a they should have not adapted the show at all. And that's not to say that it's terrible or anything, but they should have not adapted the show at all and instead like give the author that is making the manga more time, more chapters to produce. And then you should have the power to adapt the manga for what it is, what's being portrayed right now. But instead, we get like this really weird, like each episode is like half baked, half adapted, and then we get like a little bit of fan service here and there in the episodes. But it's like the worst fan service imaginable, where it's kind of reminding me of like that Ichigo strawberry hentai I watched this past year. The other thing that I honestly would have recommended that they should have done with this anime show itself was just adapted with what they have right now. Yes, there's only 20 chapters, and yes, I understand that Studio Leo is a hentai studio at the end of the day, but there's so much they could have done with this shit. They could have been a little bit creative, a little bit above and beyond what they could have done. I've seen shows in this caliber like go the extra mile of giving like some like original scenes to enhance the said anime show, or just like again, like if it's really going to be like a really short series, like admit that's short, give us 4 episodes and call it there. By giving us these 8 episode shows that are only 3 minutes in length, mind you, it's like what's the point of even watching the show in the first place? Like, not only is it going to be like a small little waste of time for anyone, including myself, but simultaneously it's like I could be watching like other fun, bad, trashy shows right now. This right here is just, unfortunately, like in the current state that it is with its anime adaptation, it really does feel half baked. And normally in a show like, again, you're talking to the guy who's talked about True High Lips plenty of times, as referenced it to this day. Like, I would excuse that. Once again, like, I would excuse that. I would be like, hey, let's talk about this because it's so stupid and fun, and there's something that's a little bit crazy that I would talk about. But there really isn't nothing to talk about when Mariko's Love Chan, the Marika's anime. It's just super half baked. It's really boring. It's really stale, and it's such a shame that for an adaptation, looking at the manga to the anime, this could have been something that was relatively good for like the underground, maybe a bit of a niche scene, if that makes sense. Because hey, who wouldn't want to have a main character that has a wish of where he wants to know everyone's love meters when he fucking interacts with them? I don't know. I just think that this whole thing, the hate again at the end of the day just feels really justifiable. It's such a shame. I will be watching the rest of the show from this point forward because there's only 8 episodes, so why the fuck not? But believe me when I say that this is just remarkably a drastic disappointment for a show that, now that I have more info about how this show was handled in the first place, it's sad, and I guess it's another case of like we'll never know what would happen if it got like a proper anime adaptation treatment, and now it's gonna be left in and thrown to the waste bin under like, oh yeah, it's one of those really weird, stupid, trashy animes from a couple years ago that I decided to watch, but why the fuck not? So yeah, just wanted to make a follow up of this show and what have you after I did a little bit of my research here and there, and that's it. I just want to talk about this and see you on the next one. Later.